Hi guys. Hi. Hi. I'm Allison from AllyKatkreations. How are you? I know it's a mess. Cards, books, cute keychains. I'm a slacker. I keep saying I'm going to do a website, or at least my portfolio on a website. And then I'm like, okay, but I got to take all these pictures. So I got half of them done. Like, it's a lot. But I have one or two more pieces that I want to finish to put up there as examples, not as something to buy, because they're commission. But when they come out really good, it's going to be really nice. If you get anything at all from my work, connect the dot. Epiphany. A mind blown moment. A new author to read, a new book to explore. Please consider supporting my work. All links are at the bottom. And a like is helping. Share. Click, click, click. Click, 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 click. Is caring and sharing and the energy. Before I begin, the energy has been a little wonkadoo for me the last 2 days. Yesterday, I wanted to go to the country store, but my friend bailed on me, didn't tell me. She didn't go, but it rained, it was cold, totally get it. But I was really, really wanting to go. Today, I'm proud of myself, a journey outside of my town. I went like 2 towns over because I had to take care of some business with a place that happens to exist in New York, but it's not readily available over here. I found it, so I had to take a drive, and then it was crazy going back because it took me a crazy way going back home. I don't know. Again, like when you move to a new place, it takes you a while, like, to get around. I don't know, like being on an island that's so small, like you eventually, even if you get lost, you'll end up on the same island, right? You're not going anywhere. Here, it's like, oh, you can end up in another state because I'm really right next to Illinois. So I'm like, I have a huge state. Like, I can't be just driving around and getting lost because I'm not really going to ever find my way back. Thankfully, we have GPS, but just imagine MapQuest days. So, yeah. Yeah, it was my day. And then little Thor, he was really cute. I woke up a little on the later side than normal. He was laying on my deck, like right by the door, soaking the sun and like meowing. Never heard him meow before, and it's really cute. For food. So I got him food, and then a little while ago, I tried. It's getting really cold. I tried convincing him to come hang out in the house for a little bit, get warm. He like jumped up on the couch. I'm like, oh, go lay down, bud. Go just chill out. He wasn't having it. he was doing his little rounds, and then he's just like, I'm out. But I'm happy that he's coming around and he's eating, and that he's getting in the house and he's getting acquainted with me. So I'm like stalling, but I'm not. The Angels of Space. It's not what you think. It is not what you think at all. At all. And earlier today, I watched this Y Files. I found some Plum Island thing that was really freaking fantastic research this guy does. But he like does it in a cute little historically story kind of way with a little fish. So go check Y Files. He did one on Area 51. And then he did one on, he does a lot of stuff. He did one on shadow figures. He's like trying to debunk it all, but like leave the air of like mystery there. I just like the stories. I could care less if they're real or not. But anywho. The Angels of Space is not what you think. Quote, and the angel that talked with me came again and waked me. Sorry, there we go. As man that is wakened out of his sleep, and quote Zechariah 4:1. So he's comparing that to what happened to him. For the sake of saving, not that we ever have time to save, but he was sleeping outside on a bunk bed type deal, and it's in the other book that I read of his, and a being woke him up. Wife wouldn't wake up. He's like, get up, honey, get up. No, didn't wake up. When the alien took him to the spacecraft, middle of the desert, wherever. And then he describes a thing 6 feet away from the foot of the bed. I knew then that he was not having car trouble. The man said, my name is Sol Anga. Sol Ganda. Something like that. I would be pleased to show you my craft. Now, before I move forward, because it's, couldn't get the wife up. The dude's laughing, the like aliens laughing at the guy because he can't get the wife up. And then they go over to the craft, all this fun stuff. Now, my question I pose to you guys, if an alien, you in your sleep, you wake up and something taps you, and you what the, and you see something, you're not sure if it's friendly, you're not sure if it's mean, you're not sure if it's a deceiver, you're not sure if it's a shapeshifter, you're not sure what would you do? Come to my spacecraft. Especially in that time. I wouldn't go on one now either. Honestly. Because I don't know what the hell would be taking me. I would have to really go into my residence and meditate to know if they're okay or not. And I mean, again, if they talk into your head, they can control a lot of the waves that are hitting you in your thoughts. So they could deceive you. I'm not here to scare anybody because there is positive polarized aliens. But back in 1953, yeah, I would hold. Let's get into some details. The craft was about 36 feet in diameter and about 19 feet high. It looked like the same type that George Adamski photographed in his close-ups. The interior was about 18 feet in diameter and about 10 feet high. The walls were of some opalescent material like an imitation mother of pearl. There was a shelf around the inside below the portholes, about elbow height from the floor when one was standing. A column extended from the ceiling to the floor in the center of the ship. 3 other men were on the craft when we went in. They were all of the same approximate height as Solonga, whatever. Trying, giving it the old football try. Who was about 5 feet 7 inches tall. These 3 men smiled but never spoke, and I didn't learn their names. Solonga demonstrated their retractable seats, which formed a lounge when extended out of the walls. He showed me several celestial navigation instruments, and then we went below the main deck through a manhole into the power generating room. Below the deck was necessary to crouch down on a circular catwalk. There, the power mechanism was exposed to view, and I understood the principle of operation, which Solondia, I'm going to get this name, apparently picked up by telethought. We left the ship after that, I judged to be 20 minutes, walked back to bed with me and where my wife was peacefully sleeping. When I climbed back into bed, I wonder if the strange feeling I had in my stomach was going to affect me in any way. Before I could put the thought into words, Solonga said, "No, you'll be all right," and instantly disappeared. About a minute later, the ship slipped slowly into the sky and was out of sight in less than a minute. Later, we checked the hovering spot with a magnetic compass. The vortex set up by the field from the ship would swing the needle 10 degrees easterly in walking into the vortex and 5 degrees westerly in passing out of the center of the opposite side. People who went there a week later to eat their lunch became nauseated and couldn't eat. I know now that angels are people that come out of space. Although that is absolutely true, okay, it is, because where did the incarnation of what my soul is come from? Upstairs, space. Not all these creatures are angels. They not only colonize planets and communicate by thought, but they spend their time helping other people to understand life. Right now, they are around in our planet to help humanity out of the mess we have gotten ourselves into. And yes, there are these beings that have done that, and they have been warring for a very, very long time. It just became more apparent in the 40s. Well, let's take a hop back. Around the First World War, there was things, but it wasn't really apparent, and people were told to quiet. And then during World War II, that's when shit really hit the fan, and the NAZIs got the bill. So there, and then the Grenada Treaty and it's Project Serpo and a lot of that fun stuff, right? we're all within this time frame. So there was a lot of things, they were being hush hush shush. Area 51 and the other areas that these beings were recovered, maybe not, who knows. All of this is in this time frame. Now, since the Grenada Treaty, people have been abducted as like cattle. And if you really have the stomach to see some of that, in the alien earlier editions of this same genre that I go through, I show the Orion Lines site. It ain't pretty, and there's some things on there that are really graphic, and just please caution if you do look there. There's a lot of these things that, again, we're more mystified to seeing something than, oh my goodness, they're inviting me on a ship. This is like something I never, wow, I'll never have a chance to do this again. And you're going to give your power to something that you have no idea what they're showing you. You have, even if they tell you to calm down, do you know what agenda they have? They could promise you everything. I wouldn't trust it. And that's just me. And not to say that I don't, like, if the beings that work with me really wanted me to be on their ship, they would zip me up. Doesn't work like that, for me at least. They're neutral. And it's harder for a neutral race to come physically and do what they need to do. They rather do it when I'm in my light body and show me around. Fun times. But what also boggles my mind is that if he was taken into a ship and then walking in and out of the vortex, and everybody that was eating lunch there gets sick, what did he not get sick? So I pose some questions there because it doesn't make sense. People are people everywhere in the creator's universe. The only difference is that most of them have followed the universal laws and thereby progress while we are on Earth. While we on Earth have not. You have a body before you came here on Earth, and you'll have another one when you leave. Truth. But maybe then you'll be called an angel. Angels can be embodied. Hi. And there's many of you who are as well embodied angels. And I know a few that don't even realize what they are. But I know that they came down to do a specific mission and to do specific things that I knew at least two directly in my life who were embodied angels. So that is possible. But if you're talking soul level, you're talking about a light body, a crystalline light body. You're talking about higher dimensional bodies. And yes, you had many, many different types of bodies before you came into this one, and many of them alien. So that's why I beg to differ that not everybody is human angelics. Not everybody's Without going too far off course, Ashana Dean talks about why a lot of us are here. A lot of people chose a different were from a different matrix system, and they were a part of the Draco and Anunnakis. all the hybrid offshoots. I'm not going to name the hunt, whatever, the like 15 different types of Anunnaki and Dracos. But out of different matrices, when they got here, a lot of them were like, I don't want this agenda. This is not what I signed up for, and I don't agree with what they're doing. They got kind of trapped. And being that they don't want to be a part of the evil agenda, they want to be a part of the good agenda, a lot of us came back here to save them and to give them a chance to have bioregenesis and to get their Christic spark back. Not everybody has the Christos God spark. Not everybody. You want to call those NPCs, you want to call them the lizard people. A lot of those people have not the spark of God within them. That's what they want to take down. But many of those people that came here from other systems, they got stuck and some things happened, and a lot of us are here to retrieve and help those people, and we really don't know who they are. And again, if you're an Anunnaki, if you are a Draco at a soul level, do not worry. You're earning back what you lost in the first place, and it's a beautiful thing. And there's nothing wrong with being any of that. You are what God and you signed up to do. And most people are unaware of what they are and all the other components that make them up. Genesis tells of God making man, but it doesn't say anything about him making angels. This further proved to me that angels are the race of men. That is the truth. Humans are angelics. There's a whole shitload of different types of angels. But yes, he's on the line with Ashtiana Dean, but he's more on the alien agenda than he is of the Christed light being agenda. The first mention of an angel in the Bible comes in Genesis 16:7. In this verse, the angel is referred to an angel of the Lord. The sages of biblical times knew the mysteries and actions of esoteric laws. Thus, it was known to them that everything was motivated by natural forces, traveled in an arc or curved path. Anything that moved in any other path of motion was unnatural and was symbolically termed an angel. People living in Abraham's time therefore referred to anything that was of an unnatural motion from their point of view on Earth's surface as angel. These people didn't know anything about weather balloons, modern airplanes, and high-flying jets. The only things they knew of that flew in the sky were winged birds. When they observed the spacecraft or men come out of the sky, they naturally pictured them with wings like birds. Since the appearance of men or ships in the sky was not naturally happening occurrence, they symbolize the sky visitors as angels. You could look at it that way. That's a perspective. The way these people recorded any happening was to have one of their scribes write it down, like a newspaper reporter of today who wasn't present at the actual scene. The scribe had to write it as it was described to him by eyewitnesses. So I beg to differ on, again, all the religious texts, especially ones that had scribe written. Who really wrote the Gospels? Who wrote Acts? Who wrote all of that? Scribes. Probably scribes with agendas. I mean, again, perception and perspective and language barriers right there. Whenever the people wanted a copy of any written record, they found a scribe to copy it for them. This is how you could see shit getting it infiltrated and reversed. The scribes of those days got things twisted as badly as the reporters and newspapers do today. Due to error in interpreting the symbol, the scribes in copying the accounts of the angels coming out of the skies wrote angel instead of angle. All copies made from an erroneous one usually repeated the same mistake as angels became angles. Angles became angels. In a number of the experiences described in contacts with the people in the spacecraft, the Earth people making the contacts stated that the space people disappeared before their eyes. Beam me up, Scotty. As this also occurred to me during my contact, I can understand their amazement. The uninformed would say that they dematerialized. The technically minded people would say they went into the fourth dimension. The psychiatrist would say that the people suffered from hallucinations. None of these are true. The reason our space friends can disappear is because our physical vision depends on light reflection off of things in order to see. The wavelength of visible light extends from approximately 4,000 angstroms extreme violet to 7,700 angstroms extreme red. Compared with the known radiation spectrum as a whole, the range of physical vision is extremely limited. This is comparable to looking at the landscape through a crack between two boards and saying the landscape outside the range of visibility doesn't exist, has dematerialized, or it is a hallucination. Our space friends know light inside and out and backwards. In order to eliminate the need for weapons which would injure others, they have developed what they call perfect defense. This is a small object about 2 by 2 inches square and about 1/2 inch thick. It has a rounded corners and is generally carried on a cord around the neck and suspended upon under the blouse. Their ability to read thoughts allows them to be aware of any danger or threat, and all they have to do is tap this device with their hand and then they appear to disappear. A certain someone talks about a belt that does a very similar thing. The object is actually a crystal battery that stores piezo electricity that is generated by cutting magnetic lines of force, or the same as static electricity. The nearest thing to this electricity store by the crystal battery that we know of, we refer to as the spirit body or aura. The electrical spirit body of people varies with their environment and the chemical makeup of their physical body. This is why you feel good when you are with some people and feel drained or exhausted after association with others. Some people have stronger bodies, spirit bodies, than others. When the scout ship landed here in August of 1953, I observed the object. Salanga was turning it by the corners between his hands. Suddenly, he opened 2 opposite ends of it and pointed it at the granite rocks of the mountain. I saw a pencil lead size stream of light between the object and the mountain. I thought he was shooting something near the mountain. Later, he explained that he was charging the device. He said they charge various other pieces of their equipment over granite mountains. This is due to the piezoelectric effect set up by quartz in the granite matrix. There's a lot of truth to that. When they discharge the crystal battery by pressing on either side of it, it releases the charge into their electric body or aura and causes light to bend around them, therefore appearing to disappear to the limited physical vision of anyone who is watching them. They do not dematerialize or go into any other dimension. They are just as solid and physical as always, but they are outside of the limits of physical vision. This same device was used by the man Jesus when he disappeared out of crowds of people, and again where he reappeared unto the people after 3 days. One ring to Lord of the Rings. Watch that. He disappeared. I find that very, I don't know. I'm open to interpretation with this one. Interesting. It's interesting. In St. Luke 24:13-21, it tells how two of the people walked down the road talking with him. Verse 31 says, and their eyes were open and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. Some teachings would have you believe that this was a vision the people had. Jesus discounted this himself in St. Luke 24:36-39, when he said, handle me and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones as ye see me have. Two women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken and the other left. Two men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken, the other one left. St. Luke 17:35-36. Either you have faith in the prophecy of the Bible or you must reject the whole book. The Bible is an accurate history of events that repeat themselves in cyclic repetition. The above paragraphs say a division of humankind will be made. One shall be taken and one shall be left. Who is to make the decision? Who will do this judging of humanity to see who will be taken and who will be left? Every day that passes, you individually are establishing your right to be taken by the way you live. You are manifesting your choice by your actions and thinking. Each person adds increase to their vibratory body aura by conforming to the laws of the universe. Your aura, or the frequency of your body force field, will determine whether you are taken or left. A definite vibration will be established in the force field surrounding each spacecraft that will pick up people. If your body aura or force field conforms with or exceeds the established level of spacecraft's force field, you can enter the ships. Remember, you are now qualifying or disqualifying yourself to be taken on board. None can qualify another. Jesus can't save you. Some narrow-minded sects of religious fanatics have established that only 144,000 people will be saved. Of course, they are a part of the chosen few. Those who will be taken and those who will be saved are two separate conditions. The next thing one asks is, where will the people who are picked up be taken? This is answered in St. Luke 17:37. And they answered and said unto him, where, Lord? And he said unto them, wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together. The sky. Naturally, the eagles gathered together in the sky. This was said in a parable at the time because the people in the biblical days did not know what it was to fly in the skies. It was not meant for people of those days. It was said for the people of our time. The space people, angels, explain that the people who have been taken aboard their craft in these times were not taken aboard because they were better than anyone else. They explain that these people were taken aboard for their own test purposes, to see how different types of people would react. Each one who has been so honored was readily accessible in a remote place. They were of cooperative minds, and each represented a different type of Earth's people. This mass This mass pickup of people will take place prior to the planet's rebalancing on new poles. There is your alien gray agenda. This cataclysm will wipe out the destructive mammon lovers who will be left on the Earth's surface. After the Earth has restabilized on its new poles and the continents and oceans have changed, the people who have been taken up in the air will be landed back on the surface. Watch ye therefore and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all things that shall come to pass and stand before the Son of Man. Channeling. O man in the rings established within the light of me, orbiting my system's I am potency that moves a nebula, that causes suns to shine. Though some upon this portion of myself have devious ways to violate my infinite wisdom, it is not I who judges nor pay the price, as in my cycles, as in my phases, as in my eons. I have established precision in the order of my parts. And though a voice comes through to you unrecognized by mortals, realize in the voice I am the potent substance force of life, pulsing through your being. Unto eternity I separate the white from black. In color boundaries do I set for all my creation are of me, from lowest animal to tree and all that is. I am the unseen force that manifests in everything you do. Impotent substance clay of me cannot interfere, except to bring about conditions that reflect upon the garment that you wear. O man, never shall you find an end to me. There is no place I cannot be and am. You make your hell by deeds you do in violation of my ways. One who says hell is a place in my infinity is violating me. Reaction is the only hell rebounding from a spell when you excluded me, O man. Some preach there is a hell, for others never for themselves. Watch out for these, their ego is leading them astray. Though through space and time and place, remember I am there and here with you. I have no hell for man of me. Man who believes there is a hell is reviving imagery of experiences he had long ago and has had along the road to me. Last chapter for today. Prodigal mother. I'm going to have to skip around a few of these parts because it goes back to a whole diagram that Wayback Machine has to bring out, and it's not worth it. The levels or strata of substance around the crust of the earth are separated by insulations of the one still light. These layers of insulation are the activating intelligence of Creator in relation to our planet. Intelligence infiltrates all of the matter in the substance strata. Each alternate matter strata is of opposite polarity and rotates opposite to the matter strata. That was so New York accent said. on each side of it. The center of our planet consists of a sun. The sun as a core rotates in the opposite direction to the moving crest. Again, it depends on your perception on how you view what this plane of existence is. Just saying. Between the Fury center of the positively charged core and the negative crust is an insulating, non-conductive strata of fluid glass, obsidian, 600 miles in thickness. It's one of my favorite stones. All ruptures of the crust are caused by atmospheric conditions. There are several well-defined areas on the surface of the Earth where vortices of magnetic energy are located. And that there are a lot of papers I got to tackle on this. Sorry, guys. I didn't take my supplement the right time. There are vortices. I've been trying, I belong to a ley line group on Facebook. I'm trying to find a ley line near me, but you know, you go to the Google Earth and you type in vortices, and it's frustrating. I hate technology. It's very frustrating. But there are these vortices. They happen in specific spots around the world, and some crazy shit happens in them. There are places you can visit within the United States where you stand on a straight line, and 1 minute, if you stand over here, you're shorter. Over here, you're taller, but it's still flat. And the same with walking into a building. There's like a lot of optical illusionary things happening. Really cool. I hope to visit one of those spots one day. But in due time, these vortices will bring about the rupture of the crust, termed volcanic action. The earthquake faults brought about by interruptions of the force field around the Earth. Planets without moisture in their atmosphere do not rotate. Every planet in the universe moves in curved lines of travel. This is not because they were thrown off by a sun or a central body. If they were, they would not orbit. Anything thrown off of a rotating object will travel in a straight line outward, though on the Earth it may fall because of gravity. The reason planets or electron orbit around central body is because they are powered by light energy. Space outside of the Earth's atmosphere is blacker than the blackest ink. Our sun looks like an other bright star, not like a ball of fire. Only the brightest stars can be seen. Pictured in the drawing is what has often been termed the four dark corners. The positive quarter, the spring season, and the Earth's orbit is only predominantly positively relative to the Earth passing through it. At all other times when light energy is not interrupted by a body or planet, the negative or female lines of force predominate. The old axiom, women first, is applicable throughout the universe. A lot of this is just where the quarters and throughout all the year, and you can come buy a book and read it for yourself. The light lines of positive and negative energy act upon the Earth as an alternating negatively charged body. The sun acts upon the positively polarized hemispheres as they present to it in the seasons. The relative increase or decrease in polarity action varies continuously depending on the tilt of the Earth, the resistance of the sun's force field, and effects of the quarterly cycles upon each succeeding cycle. People have less resistance to disease in winter because of the quarter of the Earth's orbit. The light lines of energy are reduced due to passing through the rotating vortex of the sun's force field. Any change of polarity predominance in the Earth's atmosphere or crust will result in climatic changes. This is how positively charged particles from hydrogen bombs have caused weather changes and extremes throughout the world. Our atmospheric strata is only a thin layer of gases and moisture emitted from the crust. Our frequent charging of the atmosphere with radioactive substances is a slow process of self-annihilation. The temperature drop noted after each atomic bomb blast is caused by an inrush of frigid air from higher strata. If 30 atomic bombs were exploded in 30 days, our Earth population would be forced underground by extreme cold. Here's a small channeling. Oh man, I expanded the buds in the springtime of my seasons. I bring forth hues of color in the sunsets. I breathe forth fragrance from the flowers. I build a nest. I surge with joy and love that you may grow in unity and compassion. I bring about the warmth of my breath in the season of my summers, that man may know the fullness of the harvest, that man may see the repetition of my doings and examples all about him. And then I bring the cold, I change my colors, I cool my breath, the leaves of me fall to nourish the soil, that once again I may come in the fullness of my springtime. And then I breathe my holy breath through naked branches in the blast of winter. I crown my mountains with the purity of whiteness in mantles of snow. I freeze my rivers so that man may know the changes that comes about in the seasons of my densities. I blast the breath of storm, and then I tire of cold and bring my seasons and cycles into repetition. My numberless worlds are there for man. The mysteries are there at hand to see, so man may know the me in thee. When he solves the problems of my doing, then I shall know he will grow in me. He will know with me eternity. The same principle of light energy maintains the Earth cycles of day and night, temperature and tides, and the relation of and effects of the moon on the Earth and her people. The sun does not emit light of itself. The sun transmits positively polarized force, which reacts upon the Earth because of its negative polarity. The moon is one of the bodies acting as a governor to the Earth. The Earth's tides are a fluid drive connected between the motor-generated battery, Earth, and the governor, moon. Gravity of the moon has no effect upon the Earth. The only effect of the moon upon the Earth is by polarity action on the Earth's force field and by interruption of the light lines of force. The Earth is surrounded by a self-generated force field. Nothing inside of the Earth's force field is affecting by anything outside of it, except through the attaching or repellent effects of polarity in the lines of light of the sun. Gravity within the force field generated by any body is not subject to the action of any body outside of the force field, unless the body outside of the force field is opposite polarity. The moon and the Earth are both of negative polarity, as are all humans in their physical substance and all bodies that can be seen reflected light. All negative bodies generate a positive force field, and all positively charged bodies generate a negative force field. Temperature is a result of light forces acting in opposition to each other. Magnetism is an effect of primary light energy in opposition, produced as a result of its interruption by any body. Electricity is an effect of magnetism in polarity opposition. Heat is an effect of electricity in opposition. Contraction and expansion are opposite effects of heat or the lack of it. The Earth's force field is the boundary of everything inside of it. Nothing can come into it or go out through it without conforming to its positive polarity. The space people can alternate the polarity of the force field around their ships to conform to the positive polarity of the Earth's force field while they are passing through it. The moon never was hurled from the Earth, and it will never be part of the Earth due to the Earth's force field. Let us start in the positive quarter and rotate the moon around the Earth. We're not going to do that. People of predominantly negative polarity cannot stand to work on a graveyard shift. People of predominantly positive polarity are often called lazy because their active quarter and rest quarter reactions are opposite and they want to sleep in the daytime. It has been maintained by science that moon causes the tides. This is not so any more than the profession that heat comes from the sun. The polarity predominance alternates between the northern and southern hemispheres of the Earth and causes the force field to oscillate. The erratic orbit path of the moon follows the oscillations of the Earth's force field. The Earth's positive force field rotates opposite to the Earth and the moon's orbit. Interruptions of the light lines of force by other bodies or planets cause variable effects on the Earth, and its reactions are transmitted to its self-generated force field. The Earth's force field causes the tides as it is of opposite polarity to the water. The fact that it is strongest at the point of most resistance, where the moon is, explains the reason that science professes that the moon attracts the water, causing the tides. A negative moon cannot attract a negative body of water. It would repel the water, and in that case, the tides would be lowest on Earth on the side toward the moon. The cyclic interpretation by the moon between the positive and negative lines of light energy and the Earth is what causes diurnal inequalities in the four tides of the day and the age of the tide. Water being a fluid accounts for the equal effect on the opposite side of the Earth. The fact that the force field is rotating in the opposite direction to the Earth and it's strongest at the point between the greatest resistance of attraction by both the Earth and the moon is what causes the tides to lag, a fact which has never been explained satisfactorily by science. Magnetism and in and around the Earth is a result of the Earth's interruption of the line's primary light energy. Electricity is the result of interruption of the Earth's magnetism by generator. Solar simulator, anybody? Solar simulator, anybody? Go look up the patent. It's there. A compass needle does not point to the north magnetic pole because it is attracted to it by an opposite polarity. Its negative charged end is only pressed into position parallel to the lines of light force going by it. The intelligence in the molecular arrangement of its negative charge wants to go with the other positively charged lines in motion around it. For the same reason, the negative Earth or our other planets were never part of the positive sun. The planets being of opposite polarity could be attracted to it, but never thrown off from the sun. The sun's insulation stratum prevents the positive polarity of the sun from attracting the negative Earth into it. Light is transmitted into energy by penetration into the matter that interrupts it. The matter then gains motion. The negative vortex of light energy produces decelerating effects in negative matter. A positive vortex of light produces accelerating effects in negative matter. You can apply the principle of the Earth's crust and core rotation in opposite directions to electric motor. Sorry, guys. Hang on. We're almost there. Almost there. The time field separates all primary polarities, all magnetic polarities, and all electric polarities. This time field is unseen, infinite, and maintains the balance between opposite charges present in all bodies. The balance is a manifest in all new creation. With the continual testing of nuclear devices, the planet's unbalance will increase by the equal and opposite reaction of polarities coming ever closer to balance. This will bring more ionization of the atmosphere with an increase in smog, humidity, and clouds. The Bible prophecy will be fulfilled that says the sun will no longer give forth her light. This is where it gets very juicy. I'm going to read the channeling here first. In the pattern of my ways, I live my life in many forms, known and unknown to other parts of me. I live in space of me to constantly supervise my doings. I live in the soil to nourish my roots. I am the sap, the blood, in every density I am. I live my life and love it too, being the living love of you. Thrilling when you express the me in me. My life is sad only when you are mad at other parts of me. Only when you manifest hate to destroy, then I wait patiently for you to recover, to discover that you have only injured me and thee. Your every flight is my flight too, but not when it is aimed at other beings and me. Your fight is to overcome the urge to purge yourself of war and woe. None can hold to me and proclaim victory over others of my parts as foe. I am here and there and everywhere. Justice is fair play with me and mine in my eternity of now. The New Jerusalem, referred to in the Bible in Revelations 21:10, is not really new. It is the positive polarity moon that has been orbiting around the Earth for many thousands of years. The satellite called Shanshaya by the space people is a spacecraft. Their name for the Earth is Shia, means child in their language of the Solix Mal, or Solixima, or solar tongue. Therefore, the name of the ship is Earth Child in English. This same craft was called the Star of Bethlehem over 1900 years ago at the birth of this child called Jesus. The positive polarity spaceship is square. This is not new information. It has been before our eyes hundreds of years in print, though it was not recognized. Revelations 21:16 tells you, and the city lieth four square, and the length is as large as the breadth. And he measured the city with the reed 12,000 furlongs. The length and the breadth of the height are equal. The reason it was called the Star of Bethlehem was because when it is activated under control, it looks like a star to physical vision. The last time its power units were activated was when the man Jesus was born. This positive star body generates a negative force field around it to protect it when it is in motion as a ship. Beth is used today as beta, meaning negative. Lee is used today as Leah, meaning a meadow. Hem can be understood by any woman as the thing that goes around the bottom of a dress. Star of Bethlehem means a positive body with a negative force field around it over a meadow. That is where Jesus was born, in a manger in a meadow. Shanshia is orbiting around the Earth in the Earth's positive force field. It cannot be seen by telescopes because it sets up no resistance to the sun's positive rays. The Bible tells further in Revelations 21:11 having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like jasper stone, clear as crystal. The seven lights are spoken of in Revelation 1:20. The mystery of the seven stars, which thou sawest in my right hand, positive polarity. And the seven golden candlesticks, the seven stars, are the angels, space people of the seven churches, seven levels of life around the earth. And the seven candlesticks which thou sawest are the seven churches. The population of this level of life on earth is composed of people from the other six levels. Chapters 2 and 3 of Revelation tells which of the levels you are from. One of these seven church descriptions fits every mortal in this level. The population of Shenshela is given in Revelations 5:11. And I beheld and I heard the voice of many angels round the throne and the beasts of the elders. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000s and thousands of thousands. The last channeling. I am the voice of mortal man that whispers in the silence of your being. I am the motion instilled within the fluid dust of the body to encase you in the density of three. I am the softness that all babes know when nestled to the breast of me. I am the hardness of the substance many times beyond the density that mortals know. I am the sun that warms the morn and scorches brow. For thou must know within the being of me is thee, and search though you may do for eons yet to come. I am not there where you may go. I am within you, giving life to clay, that my motion may be manifest for purposes misunderstood by man. I am not the formula of many, nor of one. My combination varies with each speck of dust at each drop of rain, which with each thought, each individual pain and hope. For I am always surrounded thee and thee in me. If it makes the journey short, look not afar, look where you are, eternity is now. Oh man, you need not to chart a roadway through the stars to me. You need not cross the land or search beyond the sea. You will find me in the smile, in the look of someone you have helped along the way. You have only to search your heart and start to find that I am there, wherever you may be. Though all the roads may lead to me, though many search eternally to find a shortcut in the way, I am there and here as close as you to me. So reach not for a star afar. Search not in the distance in the future or the past. At last you are aware that I am there within your being, watching how you treat the me in others of my parts. And that last channeling, I tackled on the last spiritual soul advice. And I'm just gonna, I know this is running a little long. When you are pointing fingers at the very other God essences that are alive and well and doing the negative polarity fun, that's still God's experience through itself. So you got to let the higher formed other entities deal with that judgment, because we all will be judged, and not necessarily judged in a bad way. We're going to have a life experience and we're going to find out where our footfalls and where our triumphs were. And then you get the choice of what you want to do. It's free will. The problem is, we're a lot of you. I love you all. But a lot of people are still pointing fingers and blaming certain sects of people because they did horrible, heinous things. But if you don't give it energy, that doesn't mean it's not going away, but that just means you're moving on and focusing on yourself and how you can be a help to others. Instead of complaining about things and pointing fingers, yeah, we need to know what they did. No, without a doubt. But if we keep focusing in giving that negative energy out there, it's repelling off of you. It's not going to be good. This is why I'm having like the hardest time transcending a lot of things, because yes, I'm aware of the negative, horrible things that people have done throughout millennia. No doubt about it. I know and see the agendas, I see the factions, but at the end of the day, it's all of God's creation. I don't care if you feel that it's Satan, Jehovah, Allah, whatever you consider the source of it all. It's playing a role through all of us. So we have to accept that. Do we have to accept other people's actions and horrible things? No. No. But what are you doing about it? There's nothing I can physically do that's in my script that I volunteered for that's going to save the humanity of the world. There's other people in those roles that are standing in their power right now doing their job. My role is completely different from theirs. I'm spreading consciousness. I'm helping seed the new consciousness. I'm helping progress, open your brain and expand. Through creative outlets, through reading, through cards. I'm here to help people heal. I'm here to give people direction. It's not easy. All of us have a role and we're playing them. You are where you're supposed to be right now. Don't ever doubt that. But we can't keep pointing fingers at God's creations and expect when things do transpire, you're going to be looked on in a good way because you keep blaming and name calling and slandering and causing more division. Again, not all Dracos and not all Anunnaki are negative, and not all of them are positive. The same with every culture, race, creed, and entity on this planet. Not all of them, with other groupings of people, are bad. They're good people amongst the craziest, right? You have to accept that. And that's the hardest part of this entire journey that we're traversing, this reality. It's the learning. I was called some crazy ass shit in my lifetime. And when people finally have their eyes open and understand what I'm trying to portray to them and show them, then the name calling stops, and they stop judging me and they let me be. Nor do I care, but it's a lesson they needed to learn. They have an agenda. He's just going based on his heart and writing what he knows and what they have told him. He's innocent. He's just giving you his perspective. You can agree with it or not. I find it very interesting to have a different perspective based on a book that everybody takes literally. And when he's like, yeah, I take it literally, and look, here's my perception of this. Like, no one's thinking of aliens and spacecraft and the Star of Bethlehem being a spaceship. Like, who does that? Him. So it's cool. It's a cool concept. I'm not against it. I don't know if I'm for it. Jesus was, well, Yeshua Melchizedek wasn't human. None of us were. He was embodied in a human form, but he didn't have the veil of forgetting like everybody else around him did. Even the disciples, all of them had their memories wiped, meaning you can't remember your past life. You can't remember yourself with source. You can't remember what you were prior to incarnating in a body. Yeshua, Melchizedek, did. He understood. He knew. And as he got older, like things were being put into perspective for him as he experienced the human form. He started doing the remembrance. He started having the acknowledgement, the knowing. And even I could say the prophets that were in there, even if it is reversed mumbo jumbo that a lot of them wrote, the scribes. Anybody who has the innate ability to predict and to give some sort of accuracy, again, time is always moving. You are individually always moving your timeline by the choices you make on an everyday basis, how you hold your frequency. So if you're holding it really high, it's always going to keep changing. There are people that don't change their frequency and they live the same life and they're happy and complacent, and that's great. Someone like me keeps changing and shifting my timeline. No one can ever pinpoint anything for me because I keep changing. Many of you are in the same pathway. And that's why I'm like, be cautious with the people that do remote viewing and people who do divination about events on the world, because that's forever always changing. Your thought is quicker than, it's a quantum snap. It's quick. It's instantaneous. It's because it's a part of the universe. I'm not pulling, is the world burning tomorrow? Isn't Sarah Jacera coming tomorrow? I actually asked my spirit guides to tell me how you at home could heal. What do you need to work on? What do you need to focus on? What are the things you need to do? It has nothing to do with a timeline. That has everything to do with your inner world that you need to heal. I'm not, and I'm not slandering anybody. Everybody's going to perceive differently. But a lot of people like, well, that person was off and this one was off and this never happened and that never happened, because it's the timelines keep shifting. And if we all collectively are shifting higher, that means a lot of us are doing the work to shift the rest of everybody else. That's why a lot of you are tired. That's why a lot of you are energetically afraid right now. And there is positive influence. Sorry, guys. I couldn't stop that. Tried. There's a lot of positive influence happening from the beings upstairs. There is a huge war still being played right now over wormholes, black holes, the AI agenda. That's all being warred over higher into higher up densities from us. We don't see it. And again, he's correct with the vision. You're only seeing what your physical eyes can see. Some people have the ability to penetrate and see different spectrums of light. Some of us can't, and some of us it's selective. It's when your brain goes ding, 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 ding. But regardless, I find this book super fascinating. And when he's channeling source or whatever is channeling through, they get higher probably self. It resonates with me. So please know, especially if you follow me in the other chats, if I don't start talking or chit chatting and I kind of drop off, it's because I'm not feeding an agenda. I know who did wrong. I know what's wrong with the world. I'm very well researched, very well read. And I get it. And it's a mechanism of us to vent, to get it out of us. And I totally get it. I just can't partake in it anymore. As much as that sucks, I'm still listening, still watching. I just don't partake in the bashing anymore. It's not worth my energy. It's not worth the divinity within myself. Again, when you find your divinity within and you find the spark of God that's within you, you'll see the world a little different and you'll start perceiving things a little differently. And it's not to take away the harm and the horrible things that have and are still going on. But again, I believe in the contracts and the arrangements that you volunteered to be here, and everybody's here for an experience, whether it be good, the bad, the ugly. And I can't judge that. It's not my place. So and if you're going to point fingers, do it in such a way that's going to transform humanity in a positive manner, not belittling others. Doesn't matter what they wrote in their books. Doesn't matter what they call you. You're feeding it energy and you're allowing it to get to you. Stop giving it energy. We're here. We're supposed to be here to help each other. Can't do that if you're taking a big chunk of humanity and pointing fingers at it. And that's what God wanted as an experience. And that's the primal reason you're awake. Are you giving yourself gratitude? It's hard. It's very difficult. I'm still working on it. But for now, go within and heal. We need to. And again, it's a lifelong thing. It doesn't, healing does not take one day. It doesn't take a week. It takes an eon. It takes lifetimes. And I know I say it all the time. I'm not perfect. I keep finding stuff I need to heal. And I try to do the job. And some days it takes weeks to let something go for reals and let it go and release it. So with that, guys, it's chilly in Northwest Indiana. And it was 84 the other day. And now it's like 49 degrees, which is great. I actually prefer cold over the heat. We had a really nice summer here. This is my first experience here in fall. So it should be very interesting, to say the least. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you want an uplift, I do shorts with Little Thor. Some days in the morning, if I get a really good, angle on him. I wish I would have gotten him in the house earlier, but I was pouring epoxy and I didn't have my phone on me. But he came into the house and it was really freaking cute. He jumped on my couch. That was adorable because he kept looking. And then I have a raccoon who is not my normal Loki. I named them. Loki Raccoon wasn't there. It was Bjorn, who's really, really ruckusy. He is all over the place and really cute. And he went up on his hind legs and it was the cutest thing in the world. It was so bad. So I have some cute things if you need to watch just to see cuteness in action, to put a smile on your face. That's why I do that. And I will get back to the oracle cards, but who can't deny cute, bad raccoons? And Mr. Loki, the raccoon, being cute, squaring off and eating little Thor's food. It's fun times. So guys, please check out the other stuff and make sure If you're interested, the Great Alien Agenda, it goes back. I don't even remember, like I'm almost at 2 years on this channel. I have to do another like bash for that. So excited. But if you're just new to my channel, just be aware, like the series that I do, I especially this one, it goes on to a lot of different topics. So go back. I show drilling. There's a lot of things that I show. So if you're really interested in this topic, I have a lot of videos on those goodies. I read the red book and the yellow book. I am trying to carefully give my insights on Ashiana, but I don't know even where to freaking start because it's a massive amount of work. But I think it's necessary to start going over the history of the galactics and get a better understanding of when I say factions, what does that really look like? And I have not yet gotten an email back from them, nor the Native Americans. So I'm just going to, okay, I'll figure it out on my own. So until then, sending each and every one of you love, light, protection, and shielding. Please have a wonderful and fantastic weekend. Please keep warm and safe and cuddly with all your animals. And if you don't have any animals, cuddle with yourself. Very important. Be safe, be seen. There's some crazy nonsense happening in the world today. Just live your life as if you're going to live it anyway, because you are. Just be aware of your surroundings. That's all. And until next time, guys,